everyone. Welcome to the RavenRabbit Wellness Studio podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Jackie Cope, and I'm here to talk to you about all things life, healing, and happiness with the spiritual indigenous approach. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RavenRabbit Wellness Studio podcast. I'm coming to you from Anza, California, here at the Wellness Studio. I'm really excited. I just did some little improvements on the Wellness Studio. I just hung up some yoga mat holders on the wall, so instead of our mats being on the ground, they are hanging up and they look wonderful. So I'm excited to change the space up, make it more functional. Always making improvements like that. Just change the vibration of your space and your energy, brings in some new life. So for any of my people who come to yoga, be excited. We have some more organization here. So that's really exciting. Today's episode is called, Is It Really Cringe? Our Thoughts Are Powerful. So this is something that's been rolling around in my mind that I've really been wanting to talk about. Before we get started, I'd like to do an invocation. Dear Creator, please make me a pure, incorruptible channel of loving, healing, divine presence, and provide me with all the protection, guidance, and wisdom I need for this episode. And so it is. So as I'm channeling our message, I do have my one little note here just about talking about how society has been teaching us that actions we have or things that we do or say can be cringe. And even just saying the word cringe makes me cringe. So I'll try not to say it that much. But it's because it's so much meaning comes with that word. And the reason I wanted to talk about that word today was because that word can hold us back from opportunity. And that's where I get into our thoughts are powerful. So let's give some examples here and talk about what I think cringe means right now in society. You do something really embarrassing, maybe your style, maybe your hair, you're looking at photos, maybe you posted something from a long time ago. I know we've been using social media for over a decade now, so it'll have memories of what you used to post and it'll be like, oh gosh, that's cringe. So we're really being very critical of ourselves when we do that, which there's positives and negatives to that. The positives are if you do think something you've done is cringe, chances are you have grown. And so that's really positive. You're not in that mindset anymore and you've grown past it and you're a newer version of yourself, which is really wonderful. The negative impact is when we think about the future. If I take that step or do that opportunity, it might be cringe. I might regret it. That's not my brand. That's not who I am. So we can put up a lot of boundaries and we don't have all of our channels open to receive light and love and opportunity. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my metaphysics studies that I had done over the past 6 months or so. And it gets into that we are a psychophysical unit. So what that means is that our mind rules our body and our body rules our mind. They're always interacting with one another. It's a physical action and activity, and it can influence our energy patterns, especially our energy patterns in our mind. So when we take this thought of being cringe, we're sending that out into the universe. Whether there's two different ways, like I said, to look at cringe. Either you did it in the past and you're criticizing yourself from something you've done in the past, or you're thinking about your future. So if we're looking at the past and analyzing what we've done, and we've declared it as embarrassing or wrong, we send that out into the universe. What's important when we analyze the past is to then follow it up with a positive. So, for example, if you're saying that the style you had in the past was cringe, oh, I can't believe I wore that, then you need to follow it up. I look so good now. My style now is exactly who I am. And even when you are criticizing yourself in the past, it should be a little more positive too. That's who I was. I really loved that outfit, even though it's a little, I would never wear it again. I was really confident that day. So there's just different little ways to look at things. It's important to bring up our energy thought patterns here because we're speaking it out into existence, or we're thinking it into existence when we're looking at the past. We could label ourselves, like I talked about in that last episode, and then make it an excuse to be who we are. You might think about an action you had and you acted really volatile, maybe really angry, and you could just follow it up with, and that's just who I am. Don't cross my path. So when we do things like that, we're solidifying our behavior. This episode, though, is more about being cringe, so maybe you were embarrassed by it, but on the outward appearance, that's who you present to the world. So we have to be really cautious and intentional with our thoughts. I really want to talk more about cringe being in the future. So we might have an opportunity in front of us or an option in front of us that we know our friends and family might not agree with. And to talk ourselves out of it, we might say, oh, if I do that, that'll be so cringe, that'll be so embarrassing that if I do that. But then we're taking away the opportunity. We might never know. We'll never know what's on the other side if we don't go try it out. We have to let go of this feeling of being embarrassed and trying something new or putting ourselves out there on the line. I really want to encourage young women to just try what is being called to you, whatever that might be. And I'm talking about positive things. Positive things can be art, music, singing, poetry, any type of mystical work, following your spiritual path, writing, something that puts your heart out there on the line, that if we fear it'll go wrong, that will look embarrassing or cringe. There's so many opportunities to learn in those things that we put our heart out there and we put ourselves on the line. I have grown so much in my artistic spirituality. It's always just a learning curve. Sometimes with art I get frustrated. I start comparing myself to others, like why doesn't mine look like that, or how it looks in my head. But all of it is about the process and the experience, not the final end result. And so just putting myself out there, putting myself on the line, I'm going to learn something about myself. So something that's coming up for me that might be cringe to somebody is I'm going to go live paint at the Idlewild Arts Plein Air in Idlewild, California. I have never painted in front of people live in that type of setting. I've done my create, meditate, and manifest class, but I've already have the painting done. I know how I'm going to teach the steps to that painting. Everything's very structured, like I like, in a lesson format. I have never just gone out and painted something from the heart right onto a canvas in front of a bunch of other artists and, passerbyers who are enjoying the art festival. So this is totally putting myself out there and on the line. This is the type of opportunities I'm talking about. I can completely go make a fool out of myself. That could happen. I could paint something that is not pleasing to the eyes. But the point is, I'm going to go put myself out there and give it a shot. And who cares? If I'm going to have fun in the process, that's all that matters. And those are the types of opportunities I'm talking about. Those are the types of things that inside, you get that cringe feeling like, oh, I don't know, I might totally bomb this. But there's also a part of me that's like, but what if I don't? What if I don't bomb it? What if it's the funnest experience I've ever had in my life, especially in the art realm? So there's these thoughts we need to have. So going back into that, our energy patterns that are in our mind, and going back to making that positive mindset. So I was just giving that example. I think that's very old, Jackie, before spiritual, like, oh, I'm going to make a fool of myself. I don't really feel that way right now because I have done so much work and positive growth mindset that I don't care what I put on that canvas as long as I have fun in the process. Like, I love to be outdoors and in nature, and I'm going to be outside in Idlewild painting what comes to my heart. And I'm going to do it in the way that my ancestors are calling me to do this painting. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to do my full meditation process that I walked you guys through in my last episode, right there in front of whoever might be there at 7 a.m. That's when it starts. And ask for guidance and channeling while I paint. And I'm going to paint what comes through. And so that process, I don't know what other artists do for plein air art. I've never done it. I know a few people, but it's not like I know them well to go ask them, hey, what's your process? And I don't want my idea to be derailed. I'm just going to follow my heart in this and just go for it. And we'll see what happens. Those are the types of opportunities, and I'm open for all of it that I want in my life. I want that type of positivity and fun events and things that really put me out there. That's what I'm craving for right now, just to learn who I am and what I'm capable of. So I want to encourage you, if there's been something on your mind that is a positive, that could be a positive thing, such as my art event, start looking into it. Start learning and researching about it. Take those baby steps in the direction that your heart is calling you. And don't worry about the world telling you that, oh, that could be embarrassing. What if you fail? So what if you fail? Then you fail. And we'll figure out what to do from that point. Because maybe you enjoyed it and we need to make a new path and a learning path to get you there where you need to be. The first steps are always the hardest, and chances are if your heart's calling you to it, you're not going to fail. Because failure comes when you just completely stop and you never try again. For me, I like the saying, never a failure, always a lesson. So there's something you can learn in that and pivot and go in another direction while still fulfilling that thing that you've been called out to do, that is calling on your heart. So we talked a lot about the future and feelings of apprehension and working our way through that apprehension to just make that first step in doing it. And me just being here sharing that story of something that's totally brand new, those are the stories we need to share with each other so that we get the courage to do our thing that we're being called to do. So I want to go back to the past when we think about the things we've done and it makes us cringe. Because how did we ever do that? So when you think about past events, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to ruminate, which is I just go through it over and over and over again. And why did I say that? And what was I thinking? How could have I been so blind? And when we do those types of things, we're beating ourselves up for in a time where we didn't know better. You can only be as good as what you know. And when we're really young, we don't know what we don't know. And even in these moments as we grow up, we don't know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. We know what we do know. Sorry. So to sit there and label yourself and put yourself down by saying that was so cringe, that was so awful. You can think about those past events and think about who doesn't make you now and how will you be better than that, because we don't want to have those feelings again or make that mistake again. Something for me is I tend to overshare. Hence why I like to write and I'm doing this podcast. But I had to learn the right people to share with and when was the proper time to share. I was that person that would just kind of let it all spew out without thinking about, oh, is this the right time? Should I tell this person this? Because I tend to be quite open. And so when I think about times that I've done that, I kind of just want to shake my head and put my head in my hands, like, what was I thinking? But now I know, like, okay, how can I be better from that? How can I be a person who doesn't overshare at the wrong time? So I've learned to watch people's body language. I've learned to listen to my conversation deeper and be like, what can I share from my life in this conversation that's appropriate? And the right settings too. I think it's because I've always felt pretty comfortable. Like I told you, I live where I grew up, so I have some deep relationships and I sometimes get too comfortable and kind of let it all out. So I try to be more mindful of that now and think about what is appropriate to share when I'm at work, or what's appropriate to share when I'm at my wellness studio here. I was a teacher, so I always felt like I really had to watch what I was saying or what I was doing when I was at like a town event. So just paying attention and being mindful. So that's who I am now. So I can think about those times, oh yeah, oops, I overshared at those times. And that's not who I am anymore. I don't just spew out all this stuff to people who are there listening. I'm mindful about what I share and how I share it. So I'd like for you to think of a time in your past that maybe you go back to a lot, this mistake you made or something that is ugly that you don't like about yourself. And instead of suppressing it down and just ignoring it, unpack it a little, address why you might be doing that. You might have to do some childhood work possibly, maybe just some trauma work to know why you did that, and adjust from there and think about, what do I want to do from this point on now to be better? So also in this episode, I wanted to talk about how powerful our thoughts are. Our thoughts make our world. If we have a bad day, it changes the way your mind thinks about it is what makes it a bad day. So let's say one of those typical examples. You wake up in the morning, you spill your coffee. Somebody cuts you off in the car. By the time you get to work, you're just so angry that you can't wait for this day to be over because it's a bad day. Then things go wrong at work. The copy machine doesn't work. Your email didn't send. Just all those small things. So by the time you get home, you've just built it up and you take it out on the people you live with, your family, your partner. Oh, I've had such a bad day. Those thoughts are powerful and they start snowballing. And it's really important to rein yourself back in. Like, okay, I spilled the coffee. I can make another one. I can change my clothes. I can wash my shirt. Those are smaller steps you can take instead of letting it just ripple effect into the entire day. Because that's something that I really suffered from. I think my anxiety was rooted in that. Like once one thing went wrong, I started going into those thoughts. Oh, everything always goes wrong. Nothing works out. Those are not self-serving thoughts, and they're going to change your life and make it better. You have to actively work on a positive mindset. And like I told you before, I did mine in meditation, and I did mine with affirmations. So once something happened that I would normally deem as, oh, this isn't going right, why do I bother? I take a step back, I do some of my breathing, and I think about the real problem going on. Maybe there's something more going on in my life that I'm like, am I hungry? Am I tired? Did I get a good night's sleep? Am I being mindful of what I'm eating? Because I'm very big on nutrition. All of those things play a factor in how you're going to view your day and the thoughts that you're going to have. So working on my positive mindset has shifted my life drastically. I would say now I have lots of great days and I have a few bad moments. Because negative things are going to happen. The bad is going to happen. But they are just moments in time. They're there to teach us a lesson. They're there to teach us about emotion, connection, relationships, and we take those things and we learn from them. We do not have to let those things define the rest of our day or exactly who we are. So I'd like to share a few techniques from my metaphysics program that really helped me adjust my mindset. So let me just go through some of these. One of them is psychic breath energy. And that's what I was talking about. I take that moment and I breathe. Sometimes if you need to take it a step further, go outside and breathe, because being connected with nature is very healing. Let the plant medicine around you do what it does best, which is heal. Another one I just started that maybe you already do is incense burning. I love incense. I've already was a big fan of essential oils. I would say that too would work. But there's something different about incense that I truly enjoy. I've been making my own incense as well. You can buy sticks that are plain from Amazon, and you can put your own essential oils on it and burn it. So that has been very fun and very therapeutic. You can do that, burning your incense in your space for a few days to really start cleaning out and helping you dissolve psychic thought forms that are lingering in your mind, that have not left, that you're just so connected to. They can go away. I am proof of that. I've had some really negative thought patterns, and they can be dissipated when you put in the work. Because your thought patterns, they influence your auric field around you. And so changing our thought patterns are so important, because our lives become what we think. Another one that I use a lot that I like is my white light auric protection. And so I go into my meditation state, and I think about the white light being surrounding my energy field, my body, me, my spaces, and I cast out anything that does not belong in my white light field and only accept light and love and divine presence into my field. So I imagine that mentally. I see myself, I see the white light around me. I put it around my room, I put it around my house, I put it around any of my spaces. That has been very therapeutic for me. And that starts sending out messages to the universe that you're serious about changing your thought patterns and changing what you're allowing in your life. That sends out the right message to the universe. And then the biggest one I refer to in this is my positive thought programming, which I've done through affirmations. You can find really good affirmations online. I've told you before, go to Hay House and find some oracle cards that would have affirmations. There's really great ones out there. So here are some of the affirmations that I've used, and I'll say them. You can let them wash over you. You can repeat them, whatever feels right. The spiritual light of my true being and God's selfhood has already dissolved unwanted thought patterns from my mind. For this I give thanks, and so it is. Those types of affirmations are so powerful because we're already speaking as if what we want is already happening, occurring, and is. And that's why metaphysics end with so it is, because we've already spoke it, and it will and it's here. It's with us. It's in our field. I love this one. My divine self is constructing new thought patterns of a positive nature in my mind this moment, and I accept that they are already mine. For this I give thanks, and so it is. Our divine self and our divine mind is already developing those thoughts in our head, and we can access them. We have to open that channel and let those thoughts flood us. The last one I have is the power of Creator within me is mightier than any pattern I wish to be rid of. And so, through my Creator power within me, my mind is made new. For this I give thanks, and so it is. So those were 3 affirmations that I've adapted a little bit from my metaphysics book and my metaphysics schooling with Dr. Masters. And doing those affirmations have already reprogrammed my brain. What I was sharing today with my thoughts that were negative, those were me just giving examples of how I used to view things. I don't even view life in that form. My level of insecurity is significantly lowered, like so much. All of the work I've done has really changed who I am. I would say at a cellular level, like everything has changed with the work that I've been doing. And I want to encourage you to follow that path as well. Whether it's doing affirmation work, you can make your own affirmations. You can write them out and read them to yourselves. Whether it's doing meditation, how you see fit, or again, looking for somebody who might inspire your meditation, doing some research on how you can do that. And I told you episode 3 has some of insight on that. I'm going to do more about meditation as well. There's so many things you could be working on, and you just have to let go of that, oh, what if I do that? It might be cringe. It won't. Your spiritual path will not be cringe. You have the power within you already to be who you want to be. So just do a little recap here. We did a little talk about the word cringe. Like, is it really cringe, your life, the things that you've done, the choices you've made? We can view that in a past form and in the future, actions we want to take but are unsure of. We got to let go of that mindset and welcome in the divine light to guide us. And while mistakes and foolishness might arise while you do it, it's always a lesson, never a failure. And so with that, I wanted to do a little closeout today from our episode. Thank you so much for listening. Sacred fire, surround me with ceremonial flame and smoke. Protect my light. Create harmony, love, and peace. Raise the vibration highest and best. Free us from all the rest. Heal the energy, centered, restored. If this podcast helped you out in any way, you got a good story out of it, you enjoyed it, it maybe enlightened your day, please share this podcast on any social media you have. Let your friends know about it, your families know about it. That is the best way to thank a podcaster and small business owner. Share away.